Summary. Act 1. At sea and on land. The Tempest opens with a storm wrecking a ship at sea. On land, Prospero watches, explaining to his daughter Miranda that he caused the wreck. She urges him not to hurt anyone. This leads into an explanation of why Prospero is doing this. Antonio, his brother who deposed him and stranded them on this island, was aboard the ship. Prospero then summons Ariel, a spirit who serves him. Ariel assures Prospero that no one was hurt in the storm, and as proof brings one of the shipwrecked men to Prospero. It is Ferdinand, son of the King of Naples. Miranda falls in love immediately, and so does Ferdinand. Act 2. Intrigues and foolishness. Two lords try to cheer up King Alonso, who fears his son Ferdinand has drowned. They marvel at the fact that their clothes aren't wet or salty, but rather clean and fresh, another sign of Prospero's magic and his mercy. Ariel shows up and lulls the king into a magical sleep. This gives Antonio an opportunity to urge Sebastian, the king's brother, to depose Alonso and take the throne. After some waffling, Sebastian agrees. Antonio draws his sword to kill Alonso, and Sebastian draws his to kill Gonzalo. But just then, Ariel returns to wake the king. The two would-be assassins are thwarted. Elsewhere on the island, Trinculo, the king's jester, runs into Caliban, who is hauling wood and cursing Prospero. Caliban thinks Trinculo is a spirit sent to torture him, and if that's not ridiculous enough, enters Stefano, the king's butler, drunk out of his mind. After a lot of amusing confusion, Stefano and Trinculo also get Caliban so drunk that by the end of the scene, Caliban thinks Stefano is a god. Act 3. Paying the price. Act 3 opens with Ferdinand, the king's son, hauling logs like a slave. He's never worked so hard before, but he's happy to do so, because all he has to do is think of Miranda, and he feels refreshed. These two are completely and ridiculously in love. Meanwhile, Stefano, Trinculo, and Caliban have run out of alcohol. This leaves them, unfortunately, with nothing to do but talk. And in this play, to talk is to scheme. Caliban tells how Prospero torments him, and the three plan to steal Prospero's spellbooks and take over the island. Alonso and the rest of his party search for Ferdinand until they are exhausted. Ariel then makes a magical feast appear for them, complete with dinner music. Then, with an invisible Prospero witnessing the event, Ariel accuses Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian of deposing Prospero 12 years ago. The men are terrified. Act 4. Pagan weddings, pagan punishments. Prospero decides Ferdinand has proven he really loves Miranda, so he calls ancient Greek goddesses to witness their marriage oaths. Prospero then has Ariel hang out some fancy clothes to lure Caliban and his new friends. When they take the bait, invisible dogs bite at them. Act 5. Breaking the staff. Prospero has Ariel bring the king and his party to him. He reveals himself as Prospero, former Duke of Milan. Prospero praises the good Gonzalo and scolds the wicked Alonso, and then suddenly forgives him. Repentant, Alonso is glad that Prospero is alive and the relationship is restored, but he becomes sad when he remembers that his son Ferdinand is dead. When Prospero tells him that he knows what it's like because he lost a daughter, Alonso wishes that both were alive so they could rule as king and queen of Naples. Talk about prophetic irony. Prospero reveals that Ferdinand is alive, and Ferdinand reveals that he's in love with Miranda. Prospero releases the three fools, Stefano, Trinculo, and Caliban, from their torments, frees Ariel, and plans to head back to Milan with the king and his men. He also sets aside his magic, and in a slightly odd epilogue, asks the audience's permission to leave the stage and go home. But is that Prospero or Will Shakespeare talking there? Critics and scholars still haven't decided. What do you think?